President Moon Jae-in strikes an upbeat tone on efforts to restart talks with North Korea, saying dialogue is underway to keep the momentum alive between the two Koreas, as well as between the U.S. and the North. Rescue teams in Hungary say preparations to raise a sunken tour boat out of the Danube River are almost finished. They may begin lifting the wreckage in the coming hours. Plus, Hee-ho, the widow of former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung, has passed away at the age of 96. President Moon mourns the death of the former First Lady, also a lifetime activist for women's rights. We are going to start this morning in Budapest, nearly 2 weeks after a sightseeing boat capsized on the Danube River, taking the lives of dozens of people, mostly South Koreans. Salvage crews in Hungary are finally set to raise the wreckage. Our Kim Mo-kyun starts us off.
Hungarian authorities announced that salvage operations of the sunken Habliani tourist boat will officially begin at 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday, which is 1:30 p.m. here in South Korea. Salvage crews have finished binding 4 wire ropes to the hull of the boat and have made all the necessary checks and preparations for the lifting.
The checks have been made. The wires are in the right place under the boat. They are connected to the barge, therefore the ship can be lifted soon.
They also banned airplanes, helicopters, and drones from flying near the accident area until Sunday to prevent any possible disturbances to the process. The plan is to slowly lift the boat by around 5 centimeters at a time in order to ensure what's inside the boat does not get dislodged in the process. Once Habliani is raised from the floor of the river, a joint inspection team of Hungarian and Korean officials plan to search for any bodies that may be inside the vessel. The search for the bodies has been on hold for the past 2 days, with 7 Korean passengers and the Hungarian captain still unaccounted for. The salvage operation is to be carried out privately with more than 40 family members of the victims in attendance. Meanwhile, the bodies of 4 Korean victims along with 2 survivors arrived back in Korea on Monday. Kim Mo-kyun, Arirang News.
Hee-ho, the widow of former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung, passed away on Monday after a battle with cancer. She not only played a crucial role in devising policies for women and the marginalized, but also exerted all her efforts to enhance relations between South and North Korea. Our Kim Hyo-sun with the details.
Hee-ho, the wife of former late President Kim Dae-jung, died Monday evening at the age of 96. She had been hospitalized lately while battling liver cancer. During her life, Lee stood at the forefront of safeguarding women's rights in South Korea as the country's first-generation female activist. She was also a supportive companion and advisor to former President Kim, well known for his so-called sunshine policy of engagement with North Korea. She stood beside him while he ran for office for 4 times and supported him throughout his pro-democracy movement. Even on the day of her husband's death, Lee spoke of democracy.
양심으로 살아가기를 간절히 원합니다. 이것이 남편의 유지입니다.
Lee also exerted efforts to improve inter-Korean relations, serving as the head of the Kim Dae-jung Peace Center, which was founded by her husband to promote inter-Korean reconciliation and world peace. In 2000, she accompanied her husband to Pyongyang for the first historic summit between the two Koreas and served as special envoy to the North.
다음 세대 분단의 아픔을 물려주어서는 안 된다는 것을 생각했습니다.
President Moon Jae-in mourned Lee's death, referring to her as a great person. He posted Twitter and Facebook messages on Monday, immediately after Lee's passing. While Lee was in critical condition, she was with her family until the moment of her death.
Her family gathered to sing hymns. She also sang along with them while they said, "Thank you, we respect you, and we love you."
A 5-day public funeral will be organized for Lee, and she will be buried at Seoul National Cemetery, where her husband was laid to rest a decade ago. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Now, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to impose additional tariffs on Chinese goods if Chinese President Xi Jinping does not attend the G20 world leaders meeting in Osaka later this month. In an interview with CNBC on Monday, President Trump called Xi an incredible guy and admitted he would be very surprised if he didn't show up. When asked if extra tariffs would take effect immediately if the Chinese leader does not travel to Japan, Trump said yes. The remarks came as the Trump administration has been repeatedly stating the two leaders will meet in Osaka. President Trump is taxing 35% to 40% of Chinese imports into the U.S., but if talks fall apart, he says the remaining 60% will also be hit with hefty tariffs. And with the trade war intensifying between Washington and Beijing, the Chinese government has confirmed reports it summoned global tech companies, including South Korea's Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, in for talks. At a press briefing on Monday, China's foreign ministry did not elaborate on the details, but said a meeting between Chinese authorities and representatives of global firms is nothing out of the ordinary. The New York Times reported this week that Beijing summoned tech companies from South Korea, the U.S. and Britain this month to warn they may face consequences if they cooperate with the Trump administration's ban on supplying technology and parts to Chinese firms. China's Commerce Ministry is expected to release its own blacklist of so-called unreliable foreign firms in the near future. Now, President Moon Jae-in has expressed high hopes for another round of summits between the leaders of the Koreas, as well as the North and the U.S. soon. Speaking in Helsinki on Monday, the South Korean leader also stressed the peace drive on the Korean peninsula should be resolved through continuous dialogue. Our Shin Se-min files this report from Helsinki.
President Moon Jae-in is floating the idea of a fourth inter-Korean summit and a third North Korea-U.S. summit happening before too long.
대화의 모멘텀이 유지되고 있고 또 남북 간 또 북미 간 대화의 계속을 위한 그 대화가 이루어지고 있기 때문에 조만간 남북 간 그리고 또 북미 간 대화가 재개될 수 있으리라고 믿습니다.
Speaking at a joint press conference on Monday after his summit with Finnish President Sauli Niinisto, President Moon said the Korean peace drive has already made great progress, referring to the absence of any North Korean nuclear tests or long-range missile launches since late 2017. The South Korean leader stressed North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump are continuously expressing their mutual trust for one another and reiterated that dialogue is underway for the continuation of talks between the Koreas and the United States. President Niinisto also expressed his full backing for the peace drive, saying Finland is ready to offer its full diplomatic support.
I highly appreciate the efforts President Moon has made for peace on the Korean peninsula. Peace on the peninsula isn't just for that region, but for the world.
With Finland set to take the 6-month rotating presidency of the European Union in July, the Finnish leader promised to hold numerous discussions on how to support the Korean peace process as the head of the EU.
Securing a full backing from the Scandinavian country for his peace drive on the Korean peninsula, President Moon Jae-in is a step closer towards garnering all-around support from the international community just weeks before a series of major summit meetings on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Japan and the scheduled talks with U.S. President Donald Trump. Shin Se-min, Arirang News, Helsinki.
Now, following up on Se-min's report, President Moon also spent part of his Monday in Helsinki touring the Otaniemi Innovation Hub, known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. President Moon sought advice on how to overcome opposition to innovation from those with so-called vested rights. possibly in reference to powerful companies looking to protect their existing technology and products. The presidential office said the visit was aimed at devising ways to diversify Seoul's growth engines while seeking innovative growth. The president also said Seoul has introduced the world's first commercial 5G communication network, and Helsinki is cooperating with Seoul to launch the world's first 6G service. Now, when he visits South Korea later this month, U.S. President Donald Trump will discuss ways to continue close coordination with President Moon on achieving the final, fully verified denuclearization of North Korea. U.S. State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortagus said on Monday that the two leaders will also discuss ways to strengthen their two countries' alliance. She also revealed President Trump will be accompanied by U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. While the exact date of President Trump's visit has not yet been made public, he's due to travel here following the G20 summit in Osaka that's scheduled for June 28th and 29th. Now, around this time of year, many people visit South Korea's Jeju Island for a few days of R&R. However, if you're heading there this week, you'll have something extra to enjoy. The country's biggest art festival, which should be a lot of fun. Our Kan Hyung-woo went to check it out and filed this report from Jeju.
Arts in every form and kind have gathered on Jeju, coloring the island with numerous performances and showcases. The 2019 Jeju Haevichi Arts Festival has officially kicked off on Monday. The event has brought some 2,000 performance and arts industry professionals to the nation's resort island to exchange and experience different forms of arts and culture.
Because there's such a big arts event every year, places with lots of artistic content like theaters and many other organizations can get together and share what they do and hope to achieve. It's a very good opportunity.
On the first day of the festival, an art market event was held for performers to showcase and promote their acts and music pieces. The participants are also given the opportunity to network with other professionals in the industry. Already in its 12th installment, the Jeju Haevichi Arts Festival has grown into one of the biggest festivals of its kind in Korea, with about 12,000 people attending last year's event.
I think the more people that come, the better it is for the audience because performers feed off the crowd's energy. If more people drop by, it will improve South Korea's performing arts.
The Arts Festival has been put together to invigorate performance arts, boost exchange between Korean and overseas art centers, and enhance expertise in the field. Opening up all performances at no cost for any visitor, this year's edition of the Jeju Haevichi Arts Festival will run through Thursday. Hoping to become the South Korean version of the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the world's biggest celebration of arts, the Jeju Haevichi Arts Festival aims to take a big step toward becoming a major international expo for culture and arts. Kan Hyung-woo, Arirang News, Jeju.
A helicopter has crashed on top of a building in Manhattan, killing one person. For more on this and other news from around the world, let's turn to our Hong-yu. So how exactly did this crash happen, and could you give us the rest of the details?
It was shortly before 2 p.m. on Monday in New York when the helicopter made a crash landing onto the roof of a Midtown Manhattan skyscraper. The sky was rainy and foggy at the time, hiding the upper floors of the 229-meter executable building. Around 40 minutes after the crash, the city fire department said one person was killed in the crash. Officials have preliminarily identified the victim as Tim McCormack, the helicopter's pilot. The crash evoked memories of the 9/11 attacks, but New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said there was no indication of terrorism.
At this point in time, but what we do know is that one person died in this helicopter crash. That person is presumed to be the pilot, but we are still waiting for absolute confirmation of that fact. There does not appear to have been any passenger in the helicopter, but again, we're waiting for absolute confirmation of that fact. We do not know the cause of this incident. I'm sure you're going to all want to ask that. We do not know the cause. But again, we have no indication that there was any terror nexus here.
People who were in the building when the crash happened were evacuated, and the police have closed off a large part of Midtown Manhattan, including New York's iconic Times Square and many Broadway theaters.
It's like a big vibration. It just crashed into the building. So they want everybody to evacuate the building.
I was just doing what I was supposed to do, and I felt the building shake. There was a big shake. I thought something was wrong with the elevator at first, and then I seen everybody coming down in all of the elevators, big packed elevators, about 20, 30 people in one elevator.
The National Transportation Safety Board has sent an investigator to find out what caused the crash, and the investigation is ongoing. U.S. President Donald Trump said the White House is working closely with New York City and the state of New York. 10 final candidates who threw their hats into the ring to replace British Prime Minister Theresa May were confirmed on Monday. Former London Mayor Boris Johnson, current Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, and Environment Secretary Michael Gove are among those on the final list. Conservative MPs will now take part in a series of votes to whittle the candidates down to the final two by June 20th. The two MPs will then face the wider Tory membership to decide on the next leader of their party. The new leader of the centre-right party will almost certainly become prime minister and will lead the country to solve the turmoil of Brexit. Theresa May stepped down as the leader of the ruling Conservative Party last Friday, but will remain in her post until her successor gets elected. Adventure seekers carefully make their way across the slackline set up hundreds of meters above the French Alps. 20 people walked across the 800-meter-long line hanging 300 meters above ground to enjoy the thrill. The course was installed by Slackline Association at Slack for an event aimed at setting a world speed record for slackline crossing. The rules for this new sport are being drawn up by municipal authorities following a request from the participants.
Well, I've come here to have fun. I don't intend to have an impressive crossing. I just want to go to do it. It's the weekend with friends. It's a nice atmosphere.
Time now for our Life and Info segment, where we focus on information that we do hope will be useful for your everyday life. Now, cost effectiveness is a word that comes to mind of local consumers these days, with the South Korean economy showing little sign really of bouncing back anytime soon. Amid the relative economic gloom, experts say so-called refurbishment stores are emerging and changing the way local consumers decide what and how to purchase. Jo Sung-min reports.
The sofa she's sitting on is a refurbished piece she was recently lucky enough to get her hands on. Originally retailing for around $2,000, she got it for less than half that.
I went to my sister's place and compared her new sofa to mine, and there was literally no difference. Also, it's cheaper and was delivered quickly.
Refurbished products have been disassembled, cleaned, fixed, packaged, and put back out on the shelves. No performance flaws could be found in these goods, but because they're not new, the prices are 30 to 60% lower than what they would have sold for originally. South Korean consumers are becoming more cost-conscious. Industry experts note that, unlike the past, consumers feel it's smarter to buy refurbished goods, and now it's become sort of a trend. The rising number of warehouses and online stores that strictly specialize in refurbished items is an indication that it's becoming a trend, and the kinds of things for sale now vary from clothes to cosmetics and even food.
As the trend changes, we're seeing more customers visiting our store and buying more than what they initially planned to because the prices are so low.
With the popularity of refurbished goods on a rapid rise, experts believe the Korean market for refurbished goods has already grown to more than 1 trillion won, or nearly $850 million, and expected to get even bigger. Jo Sung-min, Arirang News.
Now, South Korean game company Netmarble is set for the global release of its new mobile game. It's called BTS World, and it's coming out on June 26th. The launch excludes China, as it has been reluctant to grant approval for South Korean game companies since 2017. BTS World is a storytelling simulation game in which players help BTS grow from modest trainees to global superstars. Netmarble and the band's record label Big Hit Entertainment have already unveiled the game's original soundtrack. Players can register early and try a teaser minigame on the registration website. Now, looking to ride the wave of football coach Park Hang-seo's popularity in Vietnam, Samsung Electronics is going to release a Vietnam-only exclusive limited edition Galaxy S10 Plus featuring the head coach of Vietnam's national football team. The special edition phone will go on sale from June 16th and comes with a price tag of around $1,000 in a new prism silver color. The model comes in special packaging with an illustration of Korea's Vietnam football hero. The box includes a wireless battery pack and a custom case that applies an exclusive user interface theme when paired with the device.
Good morning. Depending on where you are, you'll need an umbrella or extra sunblock today. Let's talk about the showers first. Parts of the Jeollado and Gyeongsang-do provinces could see 5 to 20 millimeters of rainfall due to atmospheric instability. Gangwon-do province and Jeju Island could see less than 5 millimeters during the day, so have your umbrella handy. And as for the rest of the country, we could see strong sunshine, especially in central western areas with very high UV rays, including here in Seoul. So you'll need your sun protection items today, and most areas will enjoy decent air all day today. It was a breezy one yesterday, but readings will go up a few notches today, and highs will be in the mid-20s this afternoon, Seoul getting up to 25 degrees Celsius. And as for the weather outlook, it's going to get a lot warmer with mainly sunny skies in the forecast for the time being. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
Well, that's where we're going to leave the news and weather for now on this Tuesday morning here in Seoul. Do stay tuned to us on Arirang TV, and our daily reminder that our next newscast is coming up at noon Korea time with our very own Lee Ji-yoon. So until then, goodbye.
1000년 전부터 오지칠하고 자개를 같이 한 게 나들식인데 자개의 빛이